Target Field never looked better. The tarp is off, and we have baseball coming your way. Sox and Twins. The only game of this series, unless you include the two against Minnesota at Guaranteed Rate Field. Lots to tell you about in tonight's telecast, including about Michael Kopech starting the game tomorrow. Lucas Giolito on the mound for the Sox today, trying to build on some recent success, and he'll face Steven Gonsalves in his major league debut. So Kopech's debut tomorrow, Gonsalves tonight for Minnesota, and he'll face this right-hander Lucas Giolito for the Sox.
And there you see Gonsalves overall this year 12-3, but at Rochester he was 9-3 with an ERA just under 3. He's not exactly a soft tossing left-hander, but he doesn't have a huge fastball. He does have very good control normally, although in AAA this year the control was a problem for him. Lucas Giolito against the Twins has been very good. This being his fourth start, his ERA at 2.89. He's 1-1 against him. There you look at the rest of the numbers. And so after a slight rain delay, there will be baseball, and we've got it coming up.
Well, Lucas last time 6 innings at Detroit, 3 earned runs, and here are the guys who are going to try and prop him up today. It's starting lineup brought to you by the Webb Auto Group, the best lineup of Chevys, Fords, Mitsubishis, Genesis, and Hyundais at the best price. Go to webcars.com. Anderson, Garcia, Abreu, then Palka, Garcia, Delmonico, Davidson, the honorary Garcia, Sanchez, and Kevin Smith batting 9.
The defensive setup for the Twins, put out there by Paul Molitor, the Hall of Famer. It's Rosario, Kepler, and Cave in the outfield, left to right with Sano, Polanco, Adrianza, and Mauer. Mitch Garver gets a nod behind the plate, and our Lexus Experience amazing starting pitcher is Steven Gonsalves. Got a good change. You look at the numbers, and he knows how to pitch. There's no doubt about that. But the walks, 55 and 100 in the third, that's not all that good, and we'll see if he's got control issues this evening.
He's a very bright young man. 24 years old, knows how to pitch. He'll face Tim Anderson. First one is in there for a strike. We are a little bit late. In fact, a couple of months late. So what's another half hour? This game was scheduled for mid-April, but we were here in a snow globe, lost 3 games, and this is one of them. Anderson to right field on a line for Jake Cave. And we are off and running without number 1. Ricky Renteria, Sox manager, a couple hours before the game was feeling lightheaded. He was brought to Hennepin Medical Center here in the Twin Cities. So Joe McEwing is managing the game. We will get you an update on Ricky Renteria when we have one. But he was taken to the hospital under evaluation. And everybody in the dugout thinking of the Sox manager right now, who is not on the bench for this game tonight.
And there is still a good chance that he'll come back and rejoin the team during the game, although we don't know that 100% quite yet.
First pitch to Leury Garcia is upstairs from Gonsalves. Well, again, you see his size and you think, okay, maybe a hard throwing left-hander. He's about 90 miles an hour and uses art to get outs. And that was an artless hammer to center field for Leury Garcia, a 1-out single, first hit allowed by Gonsalves in the majors. So 1-on-1 out for Abreu. He was 12 for 49 this year with 3 of his 22 home runs against this Minnesota side, which has changed dramatically since we've seen them.
Well, there's wholesale changes, not only trades, but some demotions, some injuries. But it's a completely different Minnesota team than the last time we ran into them.
Miguel Sano back. When we were last here, he was sent to Advanced Day Fort Myers. He's returned playing third base, taking the spot of Eduardo Escobar, who was traded to Arizona. As you see the spray chart for Jose, mostly to the pull side. But you pitch him there, he might punch one to right field.
Well, he's got all 4 pitches. The question is what he's going to feel comfortable with, and he has a veteran catcher, although not an old veteran catcher, behind the plate. And Garver known for his offense as opposed to his defense.
0-2 on Jose. And that just misses inside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Left-hander out of San Diego Central Catholic High School, former 4th-round pick in 2013. And he was just tearing up AAA Rochester. Last 2 months, he was virtually unscored upon. Just 9 earned runs since mid-June allowed by Gonsalves in the International League. He is the 31st pitcher used by the Minnesota Twins so far in 2018. Now that includes 3 position players who've pitched, including former Sox outfielder Ryan Lamar, who at one point pitched for the Twins this year. Two and two. Jose fouls it away. Sox are 46 and 77. Minnesota 59 and 64. The Twins under Paul Molitor 5-1 on this homestand, playing better baseball.
Well, they're playing good baseball at home. They're playing terrible baseball on the road. This is the 4th year for Paul Molitor, and every other year he does a great job. He's finished second a couple of times, but a couple of years ago they lost 100 games. This year is not going to be a banner year for him, so every other year Paul puts together a good solid run at it.
Jose takes strike 3 that time. Gonsalves was probing for that inside corner a couple of pitches ago, and he aced him this time.
Nick Marley on the call, and he thought it had the inside corner. Jose thought it was a touch too inside, and as it turned out, too close to take. Garver wants it there. Gonsalves throws it there. And usually when you dot the catcher's glove, you're going to get the benefit of the call.
Two down, Daniel Polka, who takes ball number 1. Lefty against Gonsalves for Polka. That one is on the corner, close to the same spot as the first one. And well, we heard Gonsalves had pretty good control. There it is.
He's certainly big enough. Nice sized fellow at 6'5", 2 1/4. And he's been around quite some time. Signed as a very young player. 6 years in the minor leagues. There you look at the numbers, and they're pretty impressive.
Facing former Minnesota farmhand Daniel Polka, who the Sox got in the offseason. He played 17 games in AAA, hit 3 homers, had 3 doubles, got his opportunity, and has made it stick. See the raincoat starting to appear again in the crowd. And it is not going to be a dry night in the Twin Cities.
And now you'd think at 3-1, not wanting to walk him and leave it up to a right-handed Avi Garcia. Polka would see his fastball.
There it was. 3-2.
He got it. It had the whole plate, and he swung through it.
Payoff coming. Line to right center field by Polka. A pitch up that he hammered into right center, and Garcia's on to third. Runners at the corners. 2 down here in the first against the rookie Gonsalves.
Might have learned a little something there, and that is on major league hitters, up, down, in, out. They know you're going to throw a fastball. They got a pretty good idea you're going to. It's going to be hard to get them out. And 2 fastballs in a row, the second of which went into right center field, and so Sox in business here with runners at the corners.
Against the rookie Gonsalves, Avi Garcia, who has been a tormentor of left-handers since last year with a slugging percentage nearly .600 against lefty pitchers the last 2 seasons. Well, the fastball ended up in right center, so there's your hook.
Go to the curveball, and there's no way you're going to swing at that for the first pitch. So Avi takes it and he drops it over the plate.
Again, if you just joined us, Sox are being managed right now by Joe McEwing in the third base dugout. Ricky Renteria taken to the hospital before the game. He was feeling lightheaded, and when we have a report on the Sox manager, we will let you know. Certainly hoping for the best. 1-1 is in the dirt. 2-1 from Gonsalves, who was already in bed in AAA when he got the phone call that he was coming to the big leagues, and that will take away your sleep pattern and change it a little bit.
It's just a terribly exciting day that the young man is going through. It didn't help that he was delayed by the rain, but he's waited quite some time to get here, so that extra half hour, 30 minutes, whatever, 35 minutes rather, not going to bother him too much.
Two balls, two strikes on Avi, who was part of that Sox rally yesterday. 6 runs in the 4th inning. Avi with a home run, Tim Anderson a home run, Omar Narvaez a home run, and Mother Nature tonight hitting a home run as well, with the rain continuing here in the Twin Cities throughout the evening. It's strike 3. Gonsalves with 2 strikeouts in his first major league inning. His opposition tonight, Lucas Giolito, ready to tackle the rain. Polanco, Sano, Kapler, and Garver, Cave, Austin, Adrianza, your starting 9 tonight.
Defensive setup for our Sox, put out there by Joe McEwing. It's Nicky, Leary, and Aveseo left to right. With Matt, Tim, Yomer, and Jose in the infield, Kevin Smith gets a nod behind the plate, and our Lexus Experience amazing starting pitcher is Lucas Giolito, trying to even it up at 9-9. His ERA up over 6. There you look at the numbers for a man in his 25th start of the year.
Well, he was trying to fight off the cold early on this season, and he got a chance to in his 3rd start of the year here in Minneapolis before the snow came. Now he's dealing with the rain as he pumps in strike 1 to Joe Mauer. Remember, at Kansas City and against the Tigers, those first 2 starts were Nordic, let's say, and then game 3 kind of got the feel for that curveball, threw 103 pitches against Minnesota and 6 1/3 of 3 earned run ball. As Tim makes the play for out number 1, and a quick update for you on Ricky Renteria. He has sent a text to some of the folks with the Sox from the hospital saying he's feeling fine, undergoing some precautionary tests right now. So Ricky Renteria has notified some of the folks with the Sox. We got the message, we pass it along to you, and that's very good news about the Sox skipper, who was taken to the hospital a couple hours before game time. But he says he's feeling fine, just undergoing some precautionary tests.
In the meantime, the rain has become a little more insistent here.
Never thought we'd come to beautiful Target Field with its limestone accoutrements and its beautiful sight lines and say, where's the Metrodome?
Well, it is gone.
Never thought we'd say that.
It's a beautiful day for baseball. Well, it's a nice day. A little wet.
That is what we call ironic glass art. Nicky in left field skates over to make the catch. We're on number 2. Well, both these teams are going to head to Chicago after the game and play 2 at Guaranteed Rate Field. And we'll see how long the night is here at Target Field. Already have a doubleheader scheduled for the last series of the year here. So piling on is not a great idea.
I'd say that'll be the final of the makeup games of the 3 the Sox missed.
Hey, how do foam fingers take the rain?
Very well. Good drainage in those foam fingers.
I wouldn't imagine that's actually true.
Now there is a well thought out piece of apparel.
Downstairs 2-0 on Polanco, who we have not gotten a chance to see so far this year. He was suspended 80 games before the season, reinstated on July the 2nd. He takes a strike. 2-1 from Giolito to Polanco. And we've seen Lucas last couple of starts use that curveball a little bit more.
Yeah, I think he's starting to get a good feel for it. He likes the pitch. He should. It's a good pitch for him. But he'll go to the inside fastball here.
It fades inside on him. 3 balls and a strike. Last we saw Lucas, it was at Detroit. He threw 6 innings, gave up 3 earned runs, 15 curveballs, just 6 sliders in that game.
And he won the ball game, so things must have been going pretty well for him.
Big swing from Polanco, who's prone to do that.
That was a good moving fastball. That was a 2-seam fastball that picked up some late movement and moved well away from Polanco.
Three-2. Fouled away. Well, the Twins have seen some folks jump off board mid-season thanks to trades. Fernando Rodney leaving, Eduardo Escobar leaving, and Escobar was really in some ways the lifeblood of that clubhouse, and there was kind of a pall over the clubhouse when he left, because the Twins were actually playing some fairly good baseball at that point. You see what they've lost by trade, mostly Dozier, Escobar, Morrison, and Castro injured, Buxton down to the minors, but the pitching staff was traded predominantly as well.
Yeah, Lynn, Rodney, Presley, Duke, and Hughes, and they just decided to do a complete changeover, and this is a different Twins team.
Another fastball, another foul from Polanco.
That are a couple of the people that run it. David St. Peter, the one on the right, and I believe Jim Polad, the one on the left. Dave St. Peter, the president, chief executive officer, and Jim Polad, executive chair.
Ball 4. Polanco takes a walk, and Sano will bat here in the first. In case you didn't hear, by the way, we had a whole glitzy package planned for you in our open tonight.
It was a spectacular open, by the way. But it might have been the award-winning open of the year.
You know what happens when opens get wet?
I know.
They just disintegrate,
and
like the Wicked Witch of the West.
We lost it.
Michael Kopech is starting for the Sox on Tuesday night. Tomorrow night, And to hear a little bit more about how he's pitched, he's pitched very well in AAA. He's ready to go, make his debut. Chris Getz, the Sox farm director, will be with us by phone in roughly about an hour to chat about Michael Kopech and what he's done other than strike out 59 batters in his last 7 starts.
And gotten the ball over the plate.
Yeah, 4 walks.
Unbelievably well.
Last 7.
By the way, sliders and Sano don't like one another.
That locked him up and looked like it was close to the zone.
Well, it was entirely in the zone. It was not particularly good call by Nick Marley. That ball had the whole plate.
Another fastball, 1-2. Polanco at first, 2 down.
Now we'll see if he goes to the slider to try to end the at bat. Last time we saw Sano, he was swinging at most everything. That is an outside fastball. Lucas shakes to the slider.
And there it is for strike 3. Made him wrench his back. See you later. Second inning coming up, no score.
Tonight's game.
And we'd like to welcome all our viewers watching on LigTel Communications in Ligonier, Indiana. Hopefully it's not raining in Ligonier.
It never rains in Ligonier.
Is that a novel?
I think
Sounds like a novel.
I think it was a song. A novel song.
Who did that song?
The Swans.
Nancy Travis?
Hence the name Swan Song.
Oh my goodness. 0-1. 1 ball, 1 strike on Delmonico. Sox had 2 on in the first inning and couldn't score against the young left-hander Gonsalves.
Nicky's been swinging it pretty well lately. Starting to get a good feel, good rhythm, and he's having some quality at bats.
Nicky drills this ball right center field, and off the wall it goes. Quality at bats, you say. He's on his way to third. Nicky is in there easily.
It was lefty, and he crushed that ball to right center field. So a 3-base hit. And a good way to start off the scoring, being 90 feet away with nobody out. As he gets a fastball middle in, it's up, and he drills it.
Fourth triple for Nicky, who's now on a 6-game hit streak. And Davidson an opportunity with nobody out, runner at third, and the infield back at most places. He takes strike one.
Only guy in is Maurer at first base, who is well off the line, but even with the bag.
Well, the Sox lead the league in strikeouts, and this would not be a good time for a run of strikeouts.
No, if you're going to be a run producer, this is the ideal situation for you, to just shorten up your stroke. Think about hitting a ground ball, because if you hit it just about anywhere, it's going to be a run batted in.
And again, shortening up doesn't necessarily mean you lose your power.
Nope. No, there's been a lot of guys that will shorten up on the bat, actually keep the same power. Some of them a little bit more because they have better bat control. But no, it just means just don't try to hit it out of the world. When a ground ball will get the job done.
In and out of the glove. So Gonsalves mentioned he's the 31st pitcher used by the Twins. He's the 12th different starter for Minnesota in a game this year.
That looked like a high slider that Matt was trying to fight off, looking for that ground ball, but managed to just stay alive instead.
Everything up so far in the sequence against Davidson. That was down, and he grounded it foul, third base side.
Tried to wipe him out with a slider, but that one didn't get down and in quite enough.
30 pitches so far, 10 and 20 for Gonsalves, the California native. On the ground and through, base hit, nicely done by Davidson on 2 strikes to punch it to right and score the first run tonight.
It's RBI number 45. And get the ground ball he did, and then turns into gold. It's a fastball. It was up on the outer third. He takes it through the right side. Adrianza was playing up the middle, had no chance for this one. And the Sox have the lead. This is a Minnesota team that has not had a particularly good year, but they've been playing very well here in Minneapolis. They're 38 and 25 at home. They've been disastrous on the road at 21 and 39. But at least here they played well.
Hitting a lot of home runs recently. Even though for the most part this year they've not been a major home run hitting team. They're 20th out of 30 in Major League Baseball. Yolmer takes a strike. Sanchez playing second base tonight. He's on an 8-game hit streak, 12 for his last 34. See the rain still coming down here at Target Field. Starting to think the target in Target Field is not a store, but is more the bullseye for Mother Nature.
Come rain or snow on us. And there's the target.
Yeah, got it again. Matt at first, 1-2. That's inside the curveball, 2-2 on Sanchez. Another foul ball, so the Sox are doing a better job certainly here in the second of staying alive on 2 strikes.
A rainy night is not easy to pitch in. There's certain guys who really dislike it. There's other guys who don't mind it at all. But the one thing that most pitchers start to think about in the rain is that front foot, the landing foot. slipping at all, because if it does, you're going to lose that pinpoint control that you really need. Some guys do it better than others.
You like pitching in the rain?
I didn't. No. I didn't think I got as good a grip on the baseball. I also didn't like the feel when my front foot hit. But, you know, everybody's different. Coming from the Midwest as I did, you had to learn how to pitch in inclement weather because most of the weather was inclement. Very rarely did you get a really nice day in April or late March, sometimes into the middle of May.
See that you haven't gotten that part-time job for the Chamber of Commerce in Cleveland.
Not yet.
Yet?
No. But it's, other than that, it's a beautiful city. Very gray, but a beautiful city.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Sanchez again bloops it foul. Gonsalves trying to figure out exactly what it takes to strike out a major league batter here in the second inning. He got 2 punch outs in the first, one looking, one swinging.
It's going to be the 9th pitch of the at bat as Yolmer has kept it alive nicely.
3-2 again. That's low, and it's ball 4. 2 on, nobody out. Yolmer, it's ball 4.
There you go,
okay,
Yolmer.
Buddy. That's twice in what, 3 games?
Yeah, you can only foul off so many 3-2 pitches before, when the pitcher misses, you got to go to first base, even if you might want to swing the bat.
What did Moncada last time?
Yes.
Something about second baseman for the Sox not knowing the count.
Now they're going to come in and have a meeting with Steven Gonsalves, trying to figure out exactly what to do here.
Well, look, no matter how emotionally sound, how centered you are, your major league debut is going to be frenetic.
Yeah.
Right?
It's difficult. A lot of adrenaline, and you're as psyched up as you're ever going to be in your life, most likely. But the butterflies should have gone away at this point. Now he has to contend with major league hitters, something he's never done before. And he'll find out what a lot of other people have found out before him. They're not that easy to get out.
Kevin shows bunt. He got hit in the shoe. Yeah, it's a hit by pitch.
Well, Paul Molitor's going to come out. He's going to say that he got in the way of that intentionally, I'm pretty sure. I don't think it's going to work for him, but I'm telling you what he's probably thinking.
Well, it's umpire discretion. You can say that there was no affirmative act by the player to get out of the way, and Kevin was out of the batter's box halfway. If the pitch is a strike, it does have to go down as a strike. This was not a strike, and Kevin didn't do a whole lot.
No, he felt if this is going to hit me, it's probably going to get me on a bounce and probably not going to hurt all that much, and I need to get on base, and so get on base he did.
Bases loaded, nobody out. Tim Anderson. Breaking ball, strike 1. Well, the Sox put together that 6-run inning yesterday on 3 home runs, including a 2-run shot from Tim the opposite way. Here he got jammed and popped it up first base line. Mauer's out, and it drops. That ball is in front of Cave, and the Sox load him again. It's 2-0.
Tim with a gift base hit, a run batted in, his 52nd. And hitters don't like to think this way, but it really all evens out. Like, he lined out the first time up, hit the ball very hard, hit it right at Cave, and this time he loops a little blooper to right field. Nobody can catch it. It lands in between in the Bermuda Triangle, and the run scores. So Alston comes out to try to settle down his young left-hander who's had a little bit of bad luck here in the second inning. We'll watch it again. Nobody can get to it.
I don't know. The Cave really thought he was going to have a play on that ball because he might have had the best chance at it. Mauer never really was in play for it.
No, it's one of those, if you can hear the right fielder yell at all, it's an easy play for him. But nobody was taking command of it, and because of that, Adrianza was close enough, Mauer was close enough where Cave couldn't just a full-out sprint and come and get it. He had the easiest play, but nobody took command.
It's only his 6th game in right field this year for Jake Cave. And the Sox still have him loaded. Leury Garcia, who's driven in 6 in this spot and 5 at bats this year, trying to unload him again. He takes ball number 1. Triple, single, walk, hit batter, single so far in the 2nd inning. One ball, one strike on Garcia. This game was delayed 33 minutes prior to first pitch due to rain, which is continuing in the area here at Target Field. Gonsalves kind of has that candle in the wind feel right now.
He's just trying to scuffle and get an out. Prefer a ground ball, but Leury's got pretty good speed.
Two one is fouled off. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 9 driven in last 12 games for Leury Garcia, and a plum opportunity here in the 2nd. He struck him out with a breaking ball inside, and 1 gone for Abreu.
That was the best slider that Gonsalves has thrown tonight. That one biting down and in. No chance for Leury as he expands his strike zone, and then the ball just disappears. Keeps it there, and he's going to have very, very few problems. But as we said, by far the best slider he's thrown. So career with the bases loaded, Jose's been awfully good.
Just missed on a slider again. Twins bullpen already up. Alan Buznitz getting loose.
We've seen him a few times in the season series. Last thing Paul Molitor wants to do is have to go to that pen this early.
2 balls, no strikes on Abreu. 50 pitches already for Gonsalves. And the Sox could use a game where you have some separation to help out that bullpen, which was taxed yesterday. Hector Santiago taking the brunt of that with 4 innings for the Sox.
4 brilliant innings. He threw it really well.
2-0. Lined hard, fair ball down the line. Sanchez home. Kevin follows. Stop sign at third for Tim Anderson. And it's a 2-run double for Abreu. It's 4-0 in the 2nd.
Jose, who is just really turning it on to get to that century mark in runs batted in, now has 78. So it's been a magnificent month for him as he's hitting everything in sight. And if you have to pitch to him, you've got some problems because he's not missing anything. Taking it right down the line. Sano has no chance whatsoever. This one rattles around for a bit. And a very promising start to this ball game as Steven Gonsalves has had a lot of problems getting the 3rd strike by people.
First one upstairs to Daniel Palka this month. Jose already has driven in 19 runs. That's tied for his season high in any month, and it is the 20th.
Oh, it's been amazing how hot he's been. And the same pitches that for 1 solid month he was missing, now he's hitting everything in sight.
becomes 3-0. Sox have been big inning mongers recently. 7 on Friday in the 7th. Yesterday, 6 in the 4th in both wins against Kansas City. And that's all since June the 23rd.
And a big series against Oakland. Oakland was just starting to put it together, but they gave up 15 in a short period of time.
Daniel takes ball 4. The bases are loaded again with just 1 out. And Avi's coming up. And Gonsalves is coming out.
Yeah, that's going to be it. Paul Molitor's seen enough. He doesn't want his youngster to really take a pounding here. So Buznitz will come into this game. A disappointing start for Gonsalves, who felt pretty good when this game started, but could not get out of the buzzsaw that has been the second inning. So as he departs, so will we, and we'll be back. Coverage begins Wednesday at 6 on NBC Sports Chicago. Time now for our Lakeside Bank call to the pen. Lakeside Bank, it's about time. And sooner than he would have wanted to be summoned, Alan Buznitz comes into this for the 12th time. He's 3-0. His ERA up over 6, however. Control has not been good. 7 walks in 13 innings. He inherits the bases loaded and only 1 out.
Buznitz recalled just yesterday the batting average against his 4-seam fastball this year in the big leagues is .379.
That'd be a ringing endorsement to adapt to the 2-seamer.
Well, here's the thing. I got bad news for you.
2-seamer's not any better.
He's thrown 6 sinkers all year, and the opposition is 1 for 1 against it. So drawing board.
Yeah. It's called the slider. Throw a bunch of those.
He's thrown 32% curveball, and the batting average against that is .235. So
that's not so bad.
That's your.
There you go. That's a go-to.
2 strikes on Avi. Delmonico to follow, and Nicky led this inning off with a triple. So Gonsalves, 6 hits in an inning and a third, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, and a hit batter. So far, 4 runs allowed by Gonsalves. The 3 willed to Buznitz are the young left-hander's property as well. High fastball for strike 3, 2 gone. This is a big at bat in the game coming up because you'd really like to try to start to put this thing away when you have the chance at 4-0.
Well, there's no doubt that a base hit here makes things a whole lot more interesting for the Sox. And if you get a chance to blow up the ball game, you might as well take that opportunity. Sox have had their chance. Avi swung through a high fastball. Now it's up to Nicky.
Strike one. Lucas Giolito just soaking it all in.
He doesn't mind if they pick up another 4.
After the curveball, a second one.
One of the things, if you're Lucas and we had a shot of him sitting on the bench, you ask the umpire if you could take a couple more pitches because you've been on the bench for quite some time. This has been a very long inning.
And that is umpire discretion.
Yeah, they can give you a couple more if you want.
High fastball. Well, Buznitz so far this year against the Sox has thrown 9 1/3 in his career against the Sox. 3 earned runs. His last 2 outings have yielded a couple earned runs against the Sox. That was back in June. Way high, 1-2. Anderson at third, Abreu at second, Polka at first. And a 4-0 second inning score. Broken bat, back to Buznitz. He handles it and did a nice job of putting out the fire here in the second. Sox do lead 4-0. Lucas back out after this. Cities. Michael Kopech debuting tomorrow. We'll talk to Chris Getz about his progress. Some big leaguers in Williamsport as well. And we'll open the White Sox vault and find Ted Lyons stuff.
That would be older stuff, though, wouldn't it?
Be older. Yeah, there's sepia toned newsprint inside the vault. Well, Lucas Giolito, last we saw him during the homestand, there was some rain coming down, and he had a piece of exercise equipment that he was using to dodge the raindrops. Remember that? We were sitting there. There's a break during the homestand during a commercial, and Lucas was like looking up and watching the rain come down and trying to dodge the raindrops. And I said to him after the game, "What were you doing?" He said, "I was trying to dodge the rain. I was looking up in the sky. It looked like that old Windows screensaver with the rain flying by your face." He just liked looking up at the rain for some reason or another. So this is the perfect start for him.
Could be known as Rain Man.
Back to him. And the underhand to first. Yeah, that was less than 30 minutes to Wapner. That was like half a second to Giolito.
That one got back pretty But if it's on your glove side, you should be able to handle it. anything to your glove side. On one hop, two hops, doesn't matter. A pitcher is going to make that play. When it comes to the throwing arm side, it's a little more difficult. Those are the ones where reflexes take over and you try to bat it down with your throwing hand, which is something that's not recommended.
Yeah, then you end up on the DL.
Yeah, that's not a good thing.
One down for Garver, 27-year-old catcher for Minnesota.
Garver can swing the bat a bit. It's been the defensive side that has given him some problems, but as far as hitting is concerned, he's hit pretty nicely.
Hey, don't look now, but the sun's trying to peek out.
I know. Very nice.
One. Breaking ball in the dirt, 2-1. Is that blue sky?
There it is. There's some officially blue sky. I think it's an azure blue sky.
I didn't know they had that here. But it is a beautiful day for baseball.
It's always a beautiful day in Twins territory. Remember that.
I believe much more in the people who created that than the slogan, "This is how we baseball," which is their 2018 slogan, which seems like it needs a grammarian.
Yeah, they might retire that one because it has not been. It started out to be an okay year. It has not been a great year for the Twins.
This is how we ball 4. 1-out walk to Garver. Cave will come up. Your 2018 Chicago White Sox are presented by Guaranteed Rate, your trusted teammate throughout the mortgage process. Experience the difference today at rate.com. This is how we baseball is the slogan.
That's it.
Maybe a word missing in there.
Yeah.
Somewhere. How do you baseball, Steve?
Usually just under a 600 winning percentage.
That's how you baseball?
Yep. Kay, by the way, hit one a mile the other day, so power's not his problem. But right now, Kevin Smith goes out to talk with Lucas about the control aspect of it.
Well, that's been better recently for Giolito. At points, 1 walk in Detroit in 6 innings. A couple starts before that, the 1 walk against Toronto. But the norm this year for Lucas has been 2 or 3 walks in a start, and that's not what we saw from him in 2017. He had 4 starts of his 7 where he had 1 or fewer walks.
That one lower reaches of the strike zone, but he got the benefit of the call from Nick Marley.
That ball had a mind of its own, tailing away. You mentioned the movement on the fastball earlier.
Yeah, well, that one was some special movement, and Cave could not check it up. Now Lucas wanting to get the count from Marley, and it was indeed 1-2. That's a high fastball. He wants to throw it by him upstairs.
It stayed in the zone.
Wasn't exactly where he wanted. It was right down the middle and probably a little above belt high, but Cave fortunately fouled it straight back.
How do you maximize the leverage you get and the bonus you get from being a tall pitcher?
Well, it depends on your release point. There's some guys that love to throw straight over the top. You remember Chris Young, the 6'10" starting pitcher that threw straight over the top and seeming to get a little extra hop, despite the fact that he was around 89, 90 miles an hour. He didn't throw much harder than that, but he got a little extra hop at the top because of the leverage from being 6'10".
On the ground, Sanchez, Anderson. 1 hop, not in time. A deft try from the middle infield, but the Twins stay alive here in the second.
Good effort, but Cave just a step too quick. Otherwise, it's a double play, and this is a slow developing double play. Tim doing what he can do to get away from the bag and avoid the slide. Just couldn't get it there in time.
Well, Chris Young, it must have been that Princeton education.
He did a whole lot with what he had because the stuff itself wasn't all that good, but he had a lot of deception.
I remember turning on a Royals game a couple years ago and saying he made it back to the big. He had a major neck issue and somehow made it back after that.
He pitched a long time. For Lucas, however, movement comes from the wrist, velocity comes from the shoulder. So with him at 93, 94 miles an hour, he's not going to be able to throw a whole lot harder than that these days, but he wants to get that good movement, and that's the great little spin at the end.
To right center field, Avi hustling toward the gap. He cuts it off, but this should be a run. Cave is on his way home, and he scores on the double for Tyler Austin in just his 24th Twins at bat.
Austin has done quite a job since putting on his Twin uniform. He's now 10 for 24. And he takes his breaking ball and takes it to the opposite field. And that's how you hit a decent curveball. You don't try to pull it. You take it in this case to right center field and turn it into a run batted in, which will be his 29th.
So here is A-Ray Adrianza, who has not hit 28 teams in Major League Baseball terribly well, but has hit the White Sox extremely well.
And last series we saw him play, he was bashing the baseball. He was hitting it all over, hitting it for extra bases, hitting it out of the ballpark, and pretty much making a pest of himself.
It was like Rod Carew was batting ninth.
Well, he was just from both sides of the plate, just crushing it.
13 for 37 against the Sox this year. 5 doubles, 2 homers. That, however, includes an 0 for 7 against Lucas Giolito. Austin at second, former Yankee. That ball stayed up and fouled away by Adrianza. 2-2.
Adrianza, a switch hitter who's been much better from the right side, although all of his power has come as a left-hand hitter. He had 5 home runs, all 5 as a lefty.
That's in there for strike 3. Basically right down the middle. Good run on the fastball. Twins get 1. Sox lead 4-1. That second inning with 4 hits, 4 runs, a couple of walks, and a hit batter.
And a few breaks. And the Sox will take it. And the ever-present Jose Abreu driving in a couple more, giving him 78 for the year.
Matt Davidson against Alan Buznitz. And a foul ball on the first pitch, 0-1. This series moseys along to Chicago tomorrow. It'll be a 7:10 start time in tomorrow's game, then 1:10 on Wednesday. Starting pitchers on Wednesday, Kyle Gibson and Carlos Rodon. Infield converges. Whose ball is it? Sano on the mound.
Ideally, you'd like to get to the mound before the ball comes down, because if you don't, you run the risk of stumbling, and Sano almost did it. He got to the mound a little bit later before he took over, and then as he was catching it, he was going up the slope of the mound and almost lost his footing right there.
And by the way, if you're going to try and catch Miguel Sano, I want to have backup.
Yeah, that would not be a good plan for the career path of Joe Mauer, because he was right in his way, and I'd have to think Sano probably right now is in the neighborhood of 3 bills. I think maybe a little bit less, but not too much less.
Yeah, so the thing about what Mauer did there is, as there's a bunt third base side, Sano pressed into action again, and he whips it over there to get out number 2. Neatly done by Miguel Sano.
Well, there is no doubt, as far as the thrower is concerned, Sano has as good an arm as probably anybody in baseball. This is a pretty good bunt, and Sano gets it across for Mauer to make a good solid play.
See, if you're Joe Mauer and you want to save Miguel Sano, that's the way to do it, not catching him as he's falling into your arms.
Catching him would not be a good plan.
Joe did that the right way, though, a couple plays ago. He was there and showed that he was going to be a good friend and teammate, but he kind of put out the one arm as if to say,
yeah, you're pretty much on your own.
Yeah,
I'd like to catch you, but you're too big. So I'll let you fall, but then I'll help you up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
First one with an arm.
Yeah.
That's fair. First base side, Kevin Smith clips it down the line, and it's a 2-out single to flip the card over. Two out, 1 on for Tim, who singled in a run in the second inning, part of that 4-run second. And strike 1 from Buznitz, whose job tonight is to save the bullpen.
He's got to do tonight exactly what Hector Santiago did in yesterday's ball game, which is come into a game where it looks a little dismal and then hold them and allow your offense to come back. That's exactly what Hector did. Came back from a 6-run deficit to win 7-6.
It's the rare opportunity for the Sox to, in game 1 of a series, it'll be a 3-game series, 2 in Chicago. You put the hurt on the bullpen tonight, you can help yourself tomorrow and Wednesday too.
Well, that's why for Paul Molitor, this appearance by Buznitz is an important one, because he's got to eat up and get as many outs as he possibly can.
Breaking ball inside, 1-2. Michael Kopech starting tomorrow night. Guaranteed rate field, 7:10 first pitch, and what a matchup too. Jose Barrios, Michael Kopech.
Well, if you decided you want to see maybe 1 or 2 more games the rest of the way, tomorrow night would be a good place to start. Come out and see part of the future of the White Sox. You're going to see a talented young man with a rocket for an arm, and hopefully tomorrow he will show you why he was the #1 pitching prospect in all of baseball before the Sox picked him up from the Red Sox, along with Yoan Moncada, who for a time was a #1 position playing prospect in all of baseball.
We talked to Don Cooper before the game, and he said he's excited. I mean, he gets thrilled for these debuts.
Yep.
He's pumped to see Kopech, who says he wants to be a Hall of Famer one day, as that ball gets away and Kevin Smith advances to second base.
Garber looks in the glove, but that was operator error, and it goes as a wild pitch. Tough ball to handle. He couldn't handle it, and that'll happen.
We'll hear from Don Cooper coming up later about Michael Kopech and his thoughts on the starter for tomorrow. We'll also hear from Chris Getz by phone, the Sox farm director, to chat about Kopech. That's in about 15 minutes.
Say that's coming up in just a few minutes.
We thought it might be in something like the 6th or 7th inning, but rain and a 4-run inning have changed the plans. Ball 4. You excited for Kopech?
I am. I really am excited. I mean, we've heard so much about him. We saw him in spring training. You watch him throw, you see video of him throwing, you realize just how lively that fastball is. We'll get a chance tomorrow to see everything that he's got. The run he's been on the last 7 games has been absolutely brilliant. He's walked a total of 4 men in 7 games, and that was the thing that we thought would be challenging for him, is harnessing the control.
In spring training last year, I asked Michael Kopech how hard a human can throw a baseball, and his answer was, I don't think we know yet. That gets you excited to see what he can provide. And it's not only the fastball anymore. I mean, Steve McCaddy said, pitching coach in Charlotte, he's got 4+ pitches at this point.
Buznitz has completely lost his release point, and right now he can't get it close to the plate. So that's how you take a guy with very good stuff, and Buznitz has very good stuff, and you put a 6-point ERA on him. You know that the command is just not there, because that stuff is good enough to retire a lot of major league hitters, but not if he throws consistently ball 1, ball 2.
In the air, center field. Kepler back, warning track, and the wall, and Kepler with a cushy blow into the left center field fence. Sox leave a couple. More about Michael Kopech when we come back. Because he's starting tomorrow. Futures game, Charlotte, Birmingham. He's been everywhere with the Sox, and he has struck out a number of folks in his wake. Red Sox, Chris Sale trade, first-round pick, 33rd overall, 2014. Went to Mount Pleasant High School in Texas. And those last 7 starts you were talking about, lethal.
Take a look at him: 4 walks, 59 strikeouts. Yikes.
Talked to some folks who'd seen him in AAA, and when he added that secondary stuff that became something he could throw in just about any count, it was red light for the International League. 1 ball, 1 strike on Joe Mauer, but Michael Kopech, it was on his Instagram, on his way to Chicago. He's not with the team here. He's in Chicago tonight, going to take it all in, start tomorrow. And it should be a rather volcanic atmosphere tomorrow night at the ballpark. Tickets still available, whitesox.com. And on Twitter, just yesterday, Patrick Mahomes II, the quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs from White House, Texas. He's gotten to know Michael Kopech. They're friends. Good luck, my man, says Patrick Mahomes, who had a very nice preseason game last time out. Athletes just like seeing other athletes with great talent do what they do.
That is, well, I think if you perform at the top level of one sport, you really respect someone who can perform at the top level of a sport that you can't necessarily play all that well.
Right.
And so that's kind of nice, and that's why athletes make friends with one another.
2-2 is down low, 3 balls and 2 strikes. By the way, since Michael Kopech's start tomorrow has been announced, the Sox lead the opponents 11-1. Not causation, just correlation, maybe. Wrapped to second base. Sanchez approaches for out number 1. And we got a chance to ask Don Cooper before the game what he thinks of Michael Kopech's stuff and on him coming up.
Well, he's got great stuff. We've heard that before this year. He's throwing fastball, curveball, slider, change. He's throwing them all for strikes. He's been on a roll, you know, throwing the ball well. And I'm excited about him having his first major league start. I'm excited about him reaching a dream he's probably had since he was in the 3rd grade. You know, over the years we've been lucky enough to see a lot of guys realize lifelong dreams. So that's kind of what I'm thinking about with Michael.
What do you want from him in that start tomorrow in terms of where his head is?
Well, I want what he wants. I'm sure he's hoping to go out there and have himself a good ball game, you know. The thing he's going to have to do is continue to focus, because there's going to be a lot of hoopla around his start. There already is. That's why we're doing this interview right now. And he's got to be able to be focused, and he's got to be able to channel that energy he's going to have, that geek. And, you know, that's a powerful thing, and it can take you to heights you had never seen before if you control that energy he's going to have tomorrow. And unfortunately, you know, for anybody, if you don't control that, it can take you to depths you don't want to go. But listen, good or bad tomorrow, we're Michael Kopech backers, and he's going to be here for the long haul, and his journey's about to start tomorrow.
I love that Coop's been doing this for 2 decades now as the pitching coach, essentially, for the White Sox, and he is still amped to see somebody like Michael Kopech.
Yeah, but he was wrong, because we'd have talked with him anyway, even if Kopech wasn't starting, because today was Coop's day to help out the broadcast, and so it's great that he did.
Anderson on the grass, slings it for out number 2. He nips Rosario on a beaut from number 7.
Rosario gets down the line quickly, and Tim knew that even though he was retreating, which was the only thing he could do on that one hopper, he still had to plant and make the throw. He's able to plant the back foot, get it across just in time. They get him by an eyelash at first. That's part of the maturation process of Tim Anderson, because he realized exactly how fast Rosario was. He knew he had time to get it if he planted the foot, get it there just ahead of him, and he was able to do that.
Fair to say the game's slowing down for Tim Anderson.
Yeah, I think he's made major strides in this game from every aspect, from this, where this season started to where he is now. But the biggest strides have been on the defensive end. Not only the physical aspect of the defensive end, but the thought process. What should I do if this happens? If this guy hits it to me, where am I going to go with it? And I think the thought process, as well as just exceptional physical talent, are coming together at the same time for Tim Anderson.
He was quick on that play, but he wasn't in a hurry.
He knew that he had just enough time. And he also knew, and it's a split-second decision. Do I come and get it? Do I wait for it to hit and retreat a bit? And that split second said you got to retreat. You can't get it on the fly or the short hop.
Lucas spins in strike 2 on Polanco, who walked last time. This could be our first 1-2-3 inning of the night.
And to get there, you got to get by a guy who's a pretty good hitter. And they missed Polanco.
Yeah, he's a nice extra cog in this lineup.
But at the time, when he got suspended, they still had Eduardo Escobar, who did everything he could to not only take over, but make sure they didn't lose anything offensively or defensively. And Escobar was able to do that until the trade.
Eduardo Escobar, by the way, with Arizona in 19 games, has 6 doubles, 3 homers. He's hitting .310.
No, he's just a terrific player. I mean, they made a great acquisition in getting him, and they're trying to hold on. It's going to be a really difficult scenario in the NL West. Arizona leading by a half game. The Dodgers 2 games back, and San Francisco looks like they're falling out of it.
One of the national writers tweeted the record that each team involved in this would need to have down the stretch to create an 8-team tie for the wild card in the National League. So that would be fun carnage.
That would be really fun. Yeah, I'm sure they'd be really happy with that. They'd be playing into December. It's really
Merry
nice.
Christmas. Here's your World Series.
Here's another elimination game for you to go with the 15 we've already had.
There's strike 3. Polanco's done here on August the 20th. 4-1 Sox with the lead. Chris Getz will join us coming up on Michael Kopech. He'll tell us about his development and everything the Sox expect tomorrow and beyond. For the Sox, Chris Getz, he's on the line with us. Getzy, thank you for doing this. And what's your feeling going into tomorrow? How excited do you get for something like this?
I'm very excited. I know I speak for a lot of people in the organization, perhaps even the fan base, but you know, Michael's done a great job this year. It hasn't been smooth sailing, which I think is a positive, but he's in a great position to compete now at the major league level. So yeah, I certainly looking forward to tomorrow.
What makes you say he's in a great position to compete in the majors right now?
Well, obviously, a lot of people talk about his fastball and the velocity of his fastball. Certainly, he can touch 100 miles an hour, but you know, he's much more than a thrower. He's a pitcher now. He's throwing strikes. He's kind of living in the upper 90s. Certainly, he can take that beyond, but that's when he's at his best. His delivery's at his best. He's commanding his secondary pitches. He's got a lot of confidence in those pitches, and he's going further into games. So physically, emotionally, we just feel like this is a good time for him.
Chris, where are the greatest strides that have been made this year by Kopech? Because I know there was some concern coming into this season exactly how he would adapt on the secondary pitches. Is that the biggest strides he's made?
I think so. You know, the breaking pitch has become a little bit sharper. He's throwing a curveball and a slider. The slider's always been a good pitch. It's continuing to get better. The curveball, it really helps his delivery. It helps him stay in line. Sometimes, often guys that throw very hard and like to wipe people down with sliders can come out of that delivery. The curveball, more back to front, stays more down the lane. He's throwing more strikes, and he's able to put guys away quicker, so therefore he's going deeper into games.
How about his emotional approach? Does he get excited? Does he get, when things aren't going well, does he get frustrated? Emotionally, is he ready to assume this burden up here?
Yeah, we feel he's ready. You know, he pitches with a lot of adrenaline, with emotion. That's what makes him great. Now, there are plenty of times where he needs to temper those emotions. And we've worked through those things. He's done a great job handling some of those emotional highs, those adrenaline rushes in which sometimes it becomes more of an out-of-body experience. But we have a handle on it. He has a handle on it. He's in a very good position right now.
Chris, what makes him unique?
Well, just based on his stuff, it's unique. It's frontline repertoire. There's no question. But he's got such a competitive mindset. He's got no interest in being second best. You know, he's a great teammate. He's a great person. I think he's everything you ask for in a guy to be on a team to compete for with championships.
What's in his mind when he's on the mound, do you think?
Getting strike one. You know, I certainly get strike one, and then you kind of go from there. He certainly likes to strike out, but like I said earlier, he's a guy that's focusing on, you know, going deeper into games, and sometimes that means early contact. But just getting ahead of hitters, you know, he wants to beat you. When he steps on the mound, he has no interest with letting that hitter, you know, getting on base. But that's what you want from all your pitchers, and he's doing a great job right now.
Chris, when you get a guy from another organization, do you have to reteach him the White Sox way? I mean, Coop has a definite way that he wants to develop pitchers, and certainly it's worked in the past with everybody that's put on a White Sox uniform under Don Cooper. But when you got Michael Kopech, what were some of the adjustments you asked him to make from one organization to this one?
Well, when you acquire anyone, whether it be in the draft, sign any new player that comes to the organization, you need to build a relationship with that player, and you have to let that guy go out and be himself. Now, along the way, certainly there's going to be adjustments. The player needs to be ready to make those adjustments. You can't just force him into it, or he won't be as receptive, and you won't have the success that you need to have. But, you know, he came in, obviously, highly touted with a lot of talent. Certainly there were some tweaks along the way. Listen, he was a young kid coming over. He was a young kid with the Red Sox. He came over here. He's still very young. And we're just trying to guide him towards, you know, success at the major league level. And we look forward to seeing what happens here soon.
When was the start in AAA where you started to feel like the corner was being turned on the secondary stuff?
About 6 or 7 starts ago. I think it was probably at Durham. He had a game in which he just really started getting confident with that curveball, you know, and it's certainly complemented everything else. But ever since that outing, he's just become, you can just see it in his eyes, his body language, much more confident on the mound, and he's just kind of built off of that. He's got a lot of momentum going right now. You know, he's in a very good position for success. I mean, he's right where you want a player to be when we graduate them to the major leagues.
Chris, is there going to be any type of restriction on Michael as far as how many innings he's going to pitch, how many pitches you want him to throw, how many starts he's going to get? I mean, it's been a full season of work for him, although in the minor league season it's a month less than the major leagues. What are your plans for him the rest of the way?
We're certainly monitoring all those things. We're almost at the clip in which the innings that he pitched last year. We still feel like he's got innings to go. He's a very strong kid, and you can just watch by his outings that he's got plenty left in the tank. So certainly be an outing-to-outing type approach to things with the mindset of preparing this guy for a full season at the major leagues next year.
What's the hardest you've ever seen him throw?
I've seen him hit over 100 miles an hour. He can get it up there, but that's certainly not the most important thing for me or anyone else, or it should be for anyone else in the fan base or the organization, because we want that kid to go out there and just hit.
What's the thing that surprised you most about his 2018 season, Michael Kopech?
Well, I think, kind of all the things we've been talking about. I mean, he comes into spring training in very good shape. He's a guy that he's very regimented. And just watch him kind of go through this year. It hasn't been just smooth sailing from day one, which I think we're going to look back and be very thankful for. Some players that just kind of push button through the minor leagues and get to the big leagues and struggle for the first time, they don't have anything to go back to. And in this case, he's got some things to go back to. So if things get a little rocky, he's going to have plenty of confidence that he's going to be able to work through those.
Well, certainly that's the learning process. And, what kind of message, Chris, is this going to send to guys like Dylan Cease and a number of the other really talented young pitchers who always are wondering if they're going to get their shot in the major leagues? I mean, the White Sox have been one of the teams that will bring you through. If you're one of their players, they're going to give you the shot. Now, bringing up Michael Kopech should show everybody that that's not going to change anytime soon.
It's going to be a great motivator. It's a great motivator for not only pitchers but position players. And it's a shot in the arm to the staff as well when you have a guy that you bring in and you see make progress and make their way to the major leagues. But most importantly, the Dylan Ceases of the world, along with a long list of others, they're going to. It's almost like it becomes a little bit more of a reality.
Ball gets away, and Abreu's going to score, so the Sox get a run here in the fourth inning. But Chris, before we let you go, you can answer as idealistically or pragmatically as you want. What's the ceiling for Michael Kopech in his major league career?
To be a front-end guy, he's got the ingredients that all the best pitchers have. Michael's, he's going to be himself. I mean, he's got a great personality. He's got great stuff on the mound. He's just going to be a guy that's got a chance to be in the major leagues for a long time at the front end of a major league staff. So in terms of throwing comparisons out there, there's no need to do that. He's going to be himself, and he's going to be a good one.
Why do you say that about his personality?
He's just got kind of that. He's got a good smile. Teammates love being around him. I think fans are really going to enjoy just his presence overall, but mainly they're just going to love that he's a competitive guy on the mound that goes out there and is going to try to win a ball game.
Chris, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. I hope you can enjoy the night tomorrow while you're watching.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for having me, and a safe trip back to Chicago.
Thank you, sir. Chris Getz, White Sox Director of Player Development. Sox pick up a run in the inning. We pick up a lot of knowledge about Michael Kopech, who's starting tomorrow. Lucas Giolito's got the lead. He'll pitch when we come back. plus the number of letters in his home state minus the jersey number he wore in Charlotte at the end of his Charlotte Knights tenure.
But how often do you see a guy making his first major league start tomorrow night is the star of Sox Math tonight? It just seems to happen all the time.
Here's the thing about Michael Kopech's debut. It is one of those nights like Moncada's debut. That first at bat, people were standing, taking pictures. It was an awesome moment. We always have to remember in baseball that it's a long game and it's a long season and all of that. And there will be ups and downs with every single player. But to be there on the night that the debut happens is a special thing.
I just think for everybody terribly interested in White Sox baseball, you're getting a really immediate look at the future. I mean, it's not like he's going to be the whole future because there's plenty of talent up behind him to come up to the major leagues, and you're going to be seeing them sequentially as we move along. We told you that when this season started. And so now that it's starting to happen and you're seeing the improvement of the various players who are on the field who are very young who will be building blocks. I'm talking about the great improvement of Anderson, the improvement of Moncada, and we're seeing the improvement of Adam Engel. We're seeing the improvement of Nicky Delmonico. I mean, from the time this season started till where we are now, we've seen guys, many of them, take that next step. For some of the guys, it's going to benefit them as they play longer. For other guys, it might not work out here, but it might work out someplace else as a result of this season. But you're going to get an opportunity to see a big part of the Sox future in Michael Kopech. And if you have tomorrow night off, come to the ballpark and see him, because I think it's something that you're going to remember and something you're going to want to tell all the people in your world who are interested in the White Sox. You were there the night that Michael Kopech made his first major league start.
I only disagree with you in one place. If you don't have tomorrow night off, take it off. Use your vacation. Get to the ballpark. By the way, see the Sox take on AL All-Stars like Mookie Betts and Mike Trout at Guaranteed Rate Field this summer with the All-Star Mini Plan. Pick any 3 games, excluding the Cubs series, and get $10 in added value per game to spend throughout the park. Plans start as low as $79. Get your tickets at whitesox.com/all-star plan today. You've seen a lot more baseball than I have over the course of time, but the one thing I compare this coming day to tomorrow is Steven Strasburg's debut for the Washington Nationals a bunch of years ago. That was an event, a celebration for an organization that had not really had an event in the past. That's not a group that had ever won a title, which the Sox have now 13 years ago. People still in Washington talk about that moment, and they talk about Bryce Harper's debut, and that's one of those moments that you will put in your scrapbook forever.
Well, we were there very early that particular year to play Washington and watched Strasburg. Boy, it was a very impressive outing, and Don Cooper said something that turned out to be exactly the way it worked out. He said a couple of different things. Number one, he said, look, we knew he had the fastball. What we were very impressed with was the changeup, which was really good. And he also said that that particular motion might cause him some difficulties as he moves along in his career, and he took a lot of heat for that, but he was dead on exactly right.
That ball's hit well to right field, hooking toward the pole, and this ball is foul.
Kepler didn't miss by much. That ball stayed fair for a long time before hooking in front of the pole. So Max Kepler making a bid for home run number 17 instead. Sees this one continue to hook. We'll keep a close eye on it. The ball will not disappear. The ball will stay visible the whole way. That means that it hooked in front of the pole, consequently a foul ball.
I've never mentioned this to Coop, but at the time he made those comments, I was broadcasting for AAA Syracuse, where Strasburg had come through.
And you disagreed with it.
Well, I was also doing media relations at the time.
Ooh.
So I had a bunch of requests as there's strike 3, 2 down here in the 4th inning. Hey, what do you think of Don Cooper's comments? I was like, I don't know. I don't know the guy.
Yeah, and what he talked about was what's called the inverted W.
Yep.
Which was where pitchers and they call them wrappers, where they wrap around the back end, and it's the wrist, and then you have to come all the way up on top and straighten it out and then go through it. Don felt in his history that he had seen guys with that same exact motion have some difficulties with their arm during the course of their career. Not that most pitchers don't, because they do, except some pitchers with that motion have some problems a little earlier, and Strasburg has had those kind of problems. However, when he's been healthy, he's been exceptional. Keeping him healthy has been a challenge for the Nationals, however.
Yet again, Coop was right.
Yes, he was, as he is right so often.
But long story short, you see those moments for a franchise and kind of have a pretty good feeling that Michael Kopech's going to be a major part of the future of this organization. And he will pitch tomorrow night at Guaranteed Rate Field. Hit well, right center field. Garcia in the gap, can't make the play. Garver slows down into second base. It's a 2-out double. Now the question is Garcia okay?
I think that he came across and something went wrong, because he pulled up a little short. It looked like it might be a hamstring, because normally he catches that ball. He's lined up perfectly, but he had to shorten his strides, and that to me is a hamstring problem. So
be his third.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully he's going to be okay. Leury pulled up short. It looked like, as we were looking at the angle he was taking, like he was going to make that catch, and then all of a sudden the step shortened as the hamstring gave way, and Hermie is saying, let's just go in. We're not going to talk about this any longer. We're going to take a look at it. And it was that shorten up on that stride. Normally when a ball hits the grass in the alley, a good fast center fielder is going to be able to make that play. And the leg problem stopped him from making that play. So Adam Engel now will start to get loose. He'll come in, take his place in center field. And hopefully Leury is okay, because what he's shown this year, when he is healthy, he can really hit. And he can hit from both sides of the plate.
There's Adam getting loose, and you saw Joe McEwing walking out. If you weren't joining us at the beginning of this telecast, Ricky Renteria, a couple hours before the game, was taken to a local hospital. He felt lightheaded. Got a couple of texts in from Ricky saying he's fine. He might even be back to high-five the guys at the end of the game. So good news on Ricky Renteria, but he is not managing the Sox for this game tonight. So that's why Joe McEwing's out there. But again, Leury Garcia was just on the DL with a hamstring issue a couple weeks ago.
And unfortunately, it looks like he's got it again, because he's in some pain, and now they're going to try to take as much of the pressure off that leg as possible.
Brett Walker out there with Herm Schneider helping Leury off the target field dirt. You're right. I mean, when he's played, he is hit.
He's hit. He's run the bases exceptionally well, and offensively, he's been a huge force. But hamstrings are as difficult an injury as there are to not only get healthy originally, but then to stay healthy once you've had them. We've seen Avi, the same thing, have some hamstring issues. Now Leury has some hamstring issues.
Question is, and this is putting the cart before the horse a little bit, but with this happening a couple of times now, maybe you think about long-term health, and we'll see if he can come back from this one, and it would be great to see if he could this year, but there you see him reaching immediately for the back of the leg.
So Joe McEwing's going to make the change on his lineup card. The change is going to be Engel into center field.
Jake Cave takes a breaking ball for a strike. Well, this has been a rather eventful night at Target Field, and not in a good way, other than the score, certainly.
Yeah. Might want to appeal that. No. Jeff Nelson said he did not swing. Looked like he went around a long way, but checked it up at the last instant.
What happened this summer, by the way? We got umpires in long sleeves now tonight. It's only August 20th.
It's true.
That ball fell out of the zone. 1-2.
Les Diaz apparently misread the weather report. He thought there was still snowing in Minnesota when he read that this was a makeup. Thought perhaps it'd still be that cold. But apparently down on the field, it seems to be what, 75 up here and 30 on the field.
Yeah, it feels like a Viking game.
Yeah, it is chilly.
Get him some s'mores, make a fire. Come on, Summer. Still get some legs here. 2-2 on Cave. Garver at second. That ball is crushed to center field and gone.
We told you about the power that Cave had. Hit one 450 some feet just a couple of days ago, and that was a blast. Adam Engel took one look, and that's pretty much all he could do was look up as that one exited in a hurry. Our Ford home run replay. It's a fastball down the middle, and it's tattooed.
If Adam Engel's not trying to rob it,
nope.
It's in another county.
Have to have the arm of Rubber Man to have robbed that one. Was that hit at the base of the batter's eye in center field.
Off the bat, 108 miles an hour. And there's a good curveball from Lucas to Tyler Austin, who doubled in a run his first time.
And by the way, his lengthy home run that he hit was hit over the batter's eye into that stadium club that's out there,
which looks impossible.
It is a blast. There's only been 4 balls up there in the history of this ballpark. And he's one of them, so he hit it up there with the big boys, and yeah, that's a blast. It's 403. You can see it there, but you got to get it way up in the air to get it over the limestone and into the club.
A little bit down, 2-1 on Austin, who came over in the Lance Lynn deal. Nice soft catch by Kevin Smith. 2-2. So the Sox with a 4-run second inning. The Twins with 1 in the second, 2 here in the fourth. Sox with 1 in the top of this inning. The unearned run that Abreu scored after stealing third. Tim at shortstop collects out number 3. 2-out home run for Cave makes it a little bit closer, 5-3 after 4.
Cooperstown. Plus, the Sox celebrate the history and tradition of Negro League baseball in Chicago. White Sox All Access tonight at 11 on NBC Sports Chicago. We get a new pitcher comes in the ball game, and it is Oliver Drake. 5 teams this year. He's been a moving man.
How do you do that?
Well, you can choose to look at it a couple of different ways. One, you can look at it as the team didn't want you, that traded you away. But the healthier way to look at it is the team that acquired you really wants you. And 5 teams this year apparently really wanted Oliver Drake, because here he is now wearing a Twins uniform.
Since when did you become glass half full guy?
That's the kind of guy I am. Stephen O. Stone, the O for optimistic.
Thought the O was for, oh, this isn't going well at all. We need to do better.
Some of that, yes.
Here's Yolmer Sanchez against Drake, and strike one. So May 5th, the Indians bought him from the Brewers. May 31st, the Angels took him off waivers from Cleveland. July 26th, waivers from the Blue Jays off the Angels, and then the Twins picked him up off waivers like a week later, August the 3rd.
The teams that acquired him really wanted him.
Yeah, rent, don't buy.
That's pretty much it. But in the meantime, he's still wearing a major league uniform.
He truly is Oliver and Company.
That is a lot of travel this year.
Now, he can't be far behind the major league record.
Well, the problem is when you pick up the phone and you go, okay, where am I going? Then you know you've been traded too much.
Yeah, that becomes the wrong instinct. 5 teams.
That's a lot.
I mean, somebody might need bullpen help later this year. Everybody's on waivers this time of year.
It's true.
Drake underhands it to first. Who's your Sox Math winner for tonight? Kopech edition. He's 22 years old. 4. He was born in April, so he's not going to turn 23 until next April the 30th. 88 plus 5 letters in Texas. That's 93 minus 34 in Charlotte. 59 is your answer. Ashley 22 Sanders. Once again beating out Ashley 21 Sanders and Ashley 20 Sanders. For the victory, congratulations. You'll win a prize from the road, which could be Steve's optimism bottled up.
Could it stay possibly contained? I doubt it.
Bursting from the vessel, it is in. Kevin Smith 1 for 1. And don't discount how important him feigning a bunt and taking a ball off the shoe was in the 2nd inning, because that kind of sparked a rally for the Sox. It was already building.
Yeah, that was the big 4-run 2nd inning that chased Gonzalez and made it into a bullpen game. But the Twins not giving up on this one, are fighting their way back into it.
Two and one on Kevin Smith. Oliver Drake was a 43rd round pick of the Orioles 10 years ago. One of 2 major leaguers all time to go to the Naval Academy. He has already set a major league record. We checked. Dave Ross, our stat guru in the truck. 5 teams in 1 season is a major league record.
He's got plenty of time left to enhance that record. Something he probably doesn't want to do. Doesn't know the definition of the word own.
Yeah, no, you got to get help moving, right?
Would assume a lot of it, yes.
I mean, at some point you just say, like, I'm going to keep stuff in a box. Live out your car. Fouled away by Kevin Smith. I was just reading a story the other day about Rusney Castillo, who spent most of his time recently in AAA Pawtucket with the Red Sox. But he has a place that's very close to Boston because his idea was that he wants to wake up every day and believe that he's a major leaguer. So he lives very close to downtown Boston, or in downtown Boston, and he commutes every day to Pawtucket.
Well, he's going to have a much easier commute, I think, because they're moving from Pawtucket.
That's true. They're going to Worcester.
They're going to Worcester. They're building a $90 million stadium. And they've been in Pawtucket a long time, what, since '73?
Longer, I think.
I think it's been in the neighborhood.
But it's been a while.
Long. Yeah,
it's been a long time.
Been a long time, and so they will move it.
Kind of surprising. McCoy Stadium has been one of the darling locations in the International League for a long time. To shortstop, Polanco for round number 2. He Gone for Charity is going on now. Support White Sox charities. Celebrate the legendary career of Hawk Harrelson. Donate for great prizes and be entered to win the grand prize, a special experience at Guaranteed Rate Field, Sunday, September 2nd. Visit whitesox.com/hawk to donate and enter for your chance to win. We had a couple tickets on the prize shelf the other day for the premiere of the Hawk documentary coming up first week of September. That'll be right here on NBC Sports Chicago. Two down for Tim.
Rick looks like he's throwing a splitter, and so far it looks like it's a pretty decent one.
Well, he has split enough this year that you'd imagine he'd have a good one.
That's true.
He has been the human splitter. It was 1973 they moved to AAA. They were in AA for a couple years. Congratulations, you win Is This True?
There you go. I get an is this true ism tonight.
Ball and 2 strikes on Anderson. By the way, you know what happens between the top and the bottom of the 5th?
Square dance night?
Hopefully so. That would be a great update from Chuck Garfien, which is coming after this. Grab your partner.
So he's going to pitch tomorrow night.
He is going to pitch tomorrow night, yeah.
That's good.
You just heard?
Yep.
And living under a boulder again.
Chuck told me.
It's ball one to A-Ray Adrianza. Sox and Twins 7:10 tomorrow night, then a day game 1:10 on Wednesday. You know, it's amazing what somebody's appearance will do to a clubhouse as well. I mean, it is a guarantee that the players in there will feel some energy coming from Michael Kopech's start tomorrow.
Well, there's no doubt there's going to be a lot of energy at the ballpark, all around the ballpark.
Rope to right, Adrianza rams it for a leadoff single. But again, this is going to be a big night, but it's also a building block. There are other pieces that will be coming to Chicago as well, and the idea is that it will be a stream of debuts. At some point down the line, they will join up, and the Sox will forge together, including some of the guys that are here right now, like a 24-year-old Lucas Giolito.
Well, there's a lot of young people on this ball club that are really going to benefit from what happened this year as a team, not necessarily individually, because that's certainly part of it. But as a team, this team has to learn how to win together, and that takes a while. And in the not too distant future, they will start to learn how to do that consistently.
But Steve, you look at the record and you say 46 and 77. What could you have possibly learned? That's what the cynic would say.
Yeah, and you've seen this team lose, and they've seen the way that you have lost games. They've lost games with the bullpen giving it up, lost games with errors, not enough offense. There's been every different way, every way you could lose a game. This team has lost games. That's what happens when you're not having a particularly good year.
And that's not to say the improvement has been even. There have been some uneven steps. You'd like to see more from some people. You'd like to see different improvement from some people.
But also, when you look at why your team loses, you throw out the end result, which is a loss, and you look at how they got there, and that's the introspection that is this game. You figure out how you got yourself in a position to lose, and you try not to repeat that. Now, Mauer, despite the fact that he hits a lot of ground balls, and despite the fact that he doesn't have great speed, he's got decent speed, just not great. He's only grounded into a relatively few amount of double plays, just 6 all year, and that's in over 350 at bats.
At his 2000th hit against the Sox earlier this year, he's at 2082 for his now 15-year major league career. Runners off, and he stopped. As the pitch out came, Adrianza started to go, then slammed on the brakes. Thought that might have been strike 3 on the swing, but no go for Mauer.
Well, that'll tell you that a pitch out is a little too close if a hitter almost swings at it, and that ball was just barely off the outside corner.
Left field, Delmonico's there. We're out number 1. Adrianza returns to first. That's why you play him toward left center in the outfield.
Rosario's one of the few left-hand hitters around that really likes to hit the high fastball, and I'm talking about the letter high fastball. If you get careless with one up there, he can hit it a long way.
Tremendous bad ball hitter. Leori Garcia, by the way, a left hamstring injury. He'll be evaluated tomorrow. First base, Abreu snares it, goes to second for 1. The return pass is there. double play. Tim Anderson uncorked a laser to first to get the out. And we'll see if it stands upon further review.
Well, everybody was standing out there. I think a few guys didn't know that there were 3 outs. And also some people might have thought that they want to take another look at it at first. And we'll take a look at the whole play. Let's watch it again. Great pickup. The throw's a bit off the mark, but still he got rid of it pretty quickly and got back there. Boy, it's really close.
Wins the ball in the pocket of the glove. The review process is underway. The crowd reacts to the look they're getting in stadium. First look, first replay we had, I thought he was safe. You?
I thought he was safe. Now we'll have to wait and see. Good hands by Jose, who stopped a one-hop rocket, but couldn't get much of an angle on the throw. That really set up the close play at first base, because if he had a better angle on the throw, they might have gotten it back a little more quickly. Tim did not have a chance to step. He had to throw it flat-footed on the return throw to first. Now we'll have to wait and see. It looks like they're pretty close to making a decision out of New York.
That last one probably was the definitive look, and there again, though, you need to have clear and convincing proof to overturn the call on the field, and we have seen that become a problem for teams in the past. So it's either 2-out runner at first or inning over on a beautiful 3-6-3 double play. We'll see what it goes down in history as. Sox are in Minneapolis for 1 game, and tomorrow 7:10 start time at home. Tim Anderson will be there, so will you.
And so will these Twins.
They will.
They're going to follow us back.
We're each going to take our separate plane.
Let's hope so.
Not a tandem situation.
No.
Though that would be highly entertaining.
Well, I talked with our pilot, George Hofsummer, who was in the booth with us, and he says he's going to beat them back to Chicago.
I like a good pilot fight. George is one of the best ever. He navigates tough weather better than anybody.
Yes, he does.
So this is now where you might think about an instant replay review limit, a time limit, where the system would just shut down, and if you don't have convincing proof at that point, then it just call stands. Evidently there's a good joke being told, because the guy who's in charge of the equipment had a smile on his face. Now he dropped some stuff, so he's not smiling anymore. And here's your answer. Safe.
You see no angle, and that caused Jose to have to throw it wide of the bag, causing Tim to throw it without taking a step, causing Rosario to beat the play ever so slightly at first base.
.234 on the review. Jorge Polanco, the batter. Ball number 1. Polanco has yet to put a ball in play. He's walked and struck out, but he has seen a ton of pitches tonight. Nearly 20 pitches in his 3 trips to the plate. Lucas trying to navigate out of this 5th inning, and the Sox could certainly use it with the bullpen being taxed so much yesterday.
Well, this has been the one inning where he seems to have tired just a touch because he keeps falling behind.
Off speed away, 3-0 on Polanco.
And now everybody to the mound once again.
Hey, Xfinity X1 customers, say, show me the Chicago White Sox. Hit your X1 voice remote and get live team stats on your TV. Change the way you experience TV with Xfinity X1. Four and 2/3. 4 hits, 2 walks, 3 earned runs for Giolito. And 3-0 on the dangerous Polanco. Thought he might be swinging. He didn't. Runners off on 3-1, and that's catapulted to short center. Anderson has out number 3, and that will do it for the Twins in the 5th inning. Sox still lead 5-3 to the 6th. The exhibit explores the connections of African American baseball history to Hispanic cultures dating back to the late 1800s and is dedicated to the memory of White Sox great Manny Minoso. You can find the exhibit in the Chicago Sports Depot. Open every home game at 12 to 5 on non-game days. Certainly worth your time if you love the history of baseball or if you simply love learning about culture and how it's developed.
I was talking with Bert Blyleven before the game, the Hall of Fame former pitcher for a few teams, but notably these Twins, and he now is the analyst on television for them. He was talking about Negro League. He asked me what I'd been. I said, yeah, earlier this season, but I said you really have to go back a couple of times because you can't possibly assimilate all there is for you to grasp in just one trip. And he agreed. He said he was going back again because it was just fascinating.
Yeah, we ran through it in about 2-3 hours. There's Bert Blyleven, one of the true good guys.
Yes, he is.
In baseball, in our industry.
Great pitcher.
Nasty curveball.
Yeah, he was. Number 28, 60 shutouts he threw during the course of his career. 60.
There's strike 3 from the well-traveled Oliver Drake. 1 gone. So MLB.com asked Oliver Drake what the most impressive part of this season has been for him from 5 separate organizations. The whole gamut, getting to learn all the new ways that everybody does things with each team. And he said the most impressive thing is that his wife is down to 1 suitcase.
That's pretty impressive.
You know, the really interesting thing is, though, and you know this, different organizations have a different way of doing things.
Sure.
So he has the rare opportunity to learn about 5 different places and get all this knowledge, though he was only there for maybe a couple weeks
Yeah.
for some of these teams. You get to learn a lot about how people do what they do.
It's actually amazing when you think about it. So a lot of guys will go their entire careers without ever getting traded during the course of a season. And then you have guys like Oliver Drake, who seemingly get traded every other week.
Evidently, on a road trip recently, he asked the traveling secretary for the Twins what the hotel is in Chicago. They were going to Cleveland. It's been a busy year for Oliver Drake. Another foul ball from Abreu against Drake. One and two on Jose. From Oliver Drake, who says his catch partner this year has been the fence. You don't get to make friends for real long. Two balls, two strikes on Abreu. Game was delayed by 33 minutes due to rain. 6:43 first pitch time. Sox and Twins will be in Chicago tomorrow. Steven Gonsalves, the rookie starter, went an inning and a third for Minnesota. Then Buznitz for 2 2/3 out of the bullpen. Drake a 1-2-3 fifth, and now Abreu will see his 7th pitch in this sequence with 1 out in the 6th. Ooh, a little delay. Called strike 3. 2 down.
That one was not a strike, but got the benefit of the call from Nick Marley. It's a splitter, and you can see by the reaction of Garver, the catcher, that he didn't think it was close to the plate. Watch his glove. He just brings it back over the inside corner and buys the call.
And unless Marley said something before he punched him out, Marley didn't think it was a strike right away either.
Nope, but he bought the call.
2 down for Polka. And that's called a strike.
Daniel knows that one was off the plate.
Oh, and 2. Time now for Lowe's whole team together. The Sox have started to hit home runs at a pretty torrid clip. You look at the American League home run leaders since the All-Star break: Rangers, Orioles, White Sox, and Yankees. That's strike 3. That was the best one of the sequence. And Drake strikes out the side.
tomorrow. Join Brian Anderson and Layla Rahimi for a special edition of White Sox Pregame Live at 6:30 on NBC Sports Chicago Facebook page.
If you missed it, Chris Getz joined us earlier on tonight, top of the 4th inning. If you're on MLB TV, you can go back and take a look at it. Sano got a very good look at that. One of the things that Chris Getz said to me that stood out is he's got no interest in being second best regarding Michael Kopech,
yeah,
and that's something you can get down with.
I would say that has been a recurring theme for him. He's dominated every place he's gone, and the record doesn't look like it, but he certainly dominated in AAA.
That was a strike recently. 2 balls, 1 strike on Sano. Target Field, the home of the Twins since 2010. Didn't get a chance to roam the concourse and try some of the local eats, which I know you love to do. I was going to get you an order of buffalo chicken poutine, which they have in right field. Didn't have the time to.
I like walleye 10 different ways. So bring it however you want to bring it. Just make it walleye.
On the ground to third. And Davidson socks away out number 1. Sox fans celebrate Hispanic Heritage Night Friday, September 7th. Presented by Cerveza Modelo. Latin music and dancing, special activities, an on-field parade, and a post-game fireworks show. Modelo Especial. Good guys wear black and choose gold. Tickets start as low as $10. To purchase, visit whitesox.com/NHH. NHH is the slash there. User error.
NH8?
NH. See, it's hard to say. In the air, right center field. Adam has no play. It's off the wall and goes ringing back into the field of play. Nobody there to back it up, so Kepler's on his way to third. It's a 1-out triple.
That is triple number 4, and Kepler hits a rocket. This ball is scalded. Hits high off the wall and then bounds away. Adamango can't get to it. And he coasts into third base. Right now he's starting to realize he's trapped too close to the wall. He thought he was going to make the catch at first, realized he couldn't, and then the ball bounds away for 3 bases.
Well, the Sox have kept Kepler down this year. He's just 6 for 41. That's a big triple in a 2-run game. Infield back in the middle for the Sox. And that's called ball 1 to Garver. Looked like an expando zone in the top of the 6th that has accordioned back into shape in the home half. Here's Gene Glenn coaching third today for the Twins. He was ill yesterday, and there was some question as to whether or not he would be here for tonight's game. So good to see Gene Glenn back in the coaching box.
He's been around a long time. Good coach. Real good basketball player in his youth.
Former Mr. Basketball in the state of Minnesota. The changeup.
Doesn't throw many of those, but when he does, they're effective, as he had Garver well out in front of that. Juan Minaya loosening in the pen.
Kepler at third, 1 out. Infield still back in the middle. And Garver swings through it in the dirt for out number 2.
That was a huge out. Freezing Kepler for the moment 90 feet away from scoring the 4th run. And a nice pick by Kevin Smith. puts the tag on right away. Doesn't have to worry about the throw.
Jake Cave, who blasted off in the fourth to make this a 5-3 score.
Let's take a look at StatCast AI powered by AWS. And it was that home run. And it was a blast. 107.8 miles per hour in the exit velocity. A line drive, a 22-degree launch angle. And that was gone quickly.
Spun another curveball up there. 0-2 on Cave. Lucas at 106 pitches tonight.
I think he probably should realize at this point that whatever he's got in the tank, he should show it to Cave, because he probably will not be going out there for the seventh.
This is the highest pitch count of the year for Giolito that he's building on now. Previous high was 104 against these Twins. In fact, 3 times this year he's gone over 100 against Minnesota. Two balls and 2 strikes. Sox bullpen could use a little bit of a rest. You have the debut of Kopech tomorrow. You don't know how long he'll go. There are no restrictions. We've talked to Don Cooper about that, and Chris Getz as well. 2-2. Check swing. Did he go? No. There's Coop. No specs for this 3-2. Pitch 110. Will lead to 111. Three balls, 2 strikes.
Don Cooper hoping for one more successful pitch and then go to the pen next inning.
Check swing. I think he went. He did. Strike 3. Cave wanted to hold up. He couldn't do it. To the 7th.
$29.99. Watch every out-of-market regular season game. Plus, get a free subscription to MLB at Bat Premium. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv to take advantage of this special offer. And we got a new pitcher. For the Twins, it's Trevor May. On for the 8th time. He's 1-0, ERA of 1.17. He's had an injury-plagued season. And hoping to make the most of what he's got left in this one.
Lucas Giolito over 110 pitches, season high, and he leaves the Sox in line for a victory as Kevin Smith chats with him, but a gutsy performance late.
Well, there's no doubt that he threw it pretty well. The ball was moving very well for him. Gave up some extra base hits, gave up 5 hits in all. A couple of doubles, 2-run homer, a triple, and 1 single by Adrianza. And that was that. Limited them to 3 runs on just those 5 hits with 6 strikeouts and a couple of walks to go with it.
How about Oliver Drake tonight? 2 innings, 4 strikeouts, no base runners.
It's about as well as he's thrown all year.
Next week he'll be with the Yomiuri Giants.
Could very well be.
5 teams in 1 year for Drake, and now May takes over. 3rd reliever used by the Twins. Avi's been expanding his strike zone a little bit more than when he was really cooking.
He's been shaking out his right wrist. I'm wondering if he's had some problems with that. A lot of times you'll hurt that wrist on a swing.
He's still working that thing out.
He's been doing that pretty much all night, especially after missing high fastballs.
High into the sky, first base side and out of play.
May has always had a good run against our ball club. He's 5-0 lifetime. In 13 career games, 4 of them starts. So he's seen the Sox quite a bit. A lifetime ERA of 3.31.
Two and 2 on Avi.
May just coming back from Tommy John surgery.
That's through. Base hit for Avi.
He takes it through the left side. Big effort by Polanco, but he can't come up with it.
Darryl Boston over there with Avi, and Debo's just happy no baseballs have come his direction. The other day in Chicago, it was a full-out assault on the Sox first base coach with errant throws from Royals pitchers. There's a strike on Nicky Delmonico, who's extended his hit streak to 6 games with his 2nd inning triple. Talking to Darryl before the game about some of the great hitters that he saw up close, and he mentioned the name Andres Galarraga in the context of a player at Coors Field who kind of gets dinged by history for having, like Larry Walker and Todd Helton, for having that be his home ballpark for a while. But that's not something you can really control. It's a sanctioned ballpark, so the stats still count.
I was going to say, if that happens to be your home park, you got to take advantage of that, as most of the hitters have over the course of their lives. It's the splits that have really worked against some of them when they try to get some honors after they retire.
Darryl was in Colorado for 1 year back in 1993, in between stints with the Yankees and Mets. In the air and foul again. That Rockies team this year entered play tonight half a game back of Arizona for first place in the National League West. Colorado is off tonight. That's a fun division certainly right now. The Rockies are still negative run differential, but half game behind.
Yeah, it's going to be, I mean, it's just a terrific race at this point. Looks like it's only going to get better as the Dodgers try to fight their way back into things. As you can see, just 2 games in back. And the Diamondbacks with a very precarious lead. Giants seemingly falling out of this.
That's what we thought about the Cardinals too. They changed managers. Mike Schultz has jumped in, and since then they have played outstanding baseball in the National League.
Well, they find themselves coming into play tonight just 4 games in back. Just a half game in back of Milwaukee for second place.
Mike Schultz, the rare manager who never played professional baseball.
That is the rare manager.
Went to college at UNC Asheville, but has jumped in, whether it's at the right time or created a new atmosphere, whatever it is. They're playing their tails off in St. Louis. That ball's high. Avi was running anyway. He gets to second and thinks about third. Throw into third is high into left field, and Avi's going to stay right there. The Sox got one in the 4th on a wild throw and an error by Sano. Here, Avi gets a steal and creates another error.
Avi's not going to steal too many of them, but he took off this time. Stole just his second base of the year. So Garver couldn't catch it, and when he did, couldn't throw it on the money. A nice play by Rosario as he saw the play coming his way, and he started charging to make sure if it did get away, Avi couldn't score.
So stolen base, wild pitch as Nicky fouls that one off. Got to keep that hand clean, because twice now, once he broke it, another time during the homestand he got hit on the hand.
Well, they're going to pitch him inside. It's just a question of keeping the hands away from it, but as he goes and tries to attack the baseball, he becomes quite a target.
Left side. That'll keep Avi at third. And one away as we open up the Sox vault and see what's inside. A big door.
Huge door.
Yeah, Ted Lyons, Sunday Teddy, 21 years with the White Sox. Still the White Sox wins leader, 260 of them. A new generation of fans has sprung out without even being aware of his existence, says the paper. If Lyons had been with the Yankees, Joe McCarthy said, my guess would be that he would have won 400 games. He was that good.
That'd have been pretty good.
Yeah. 260 as it is very good. White Sox high. Davidson cracks it to center field. Kepler back at the warning track, and the wall. Kepler can't make the play. It's gone. Davidson, a 2-run home run. Kepler left on the ground, and the Sox expand the lead at 7-3.
That was a towering fly ball. Looked like the run was going to score regardless. But it kept on going, and Kepler went back as far as he could get. Our fourth home run replay for Matt Davidson. He hits his 18th home run, drives in his 3rd of the night. He now has 47. This one just barely gets over the glove of Kepler, and the ballpark can't hold it. So Trevor May most unhappy, Ford very happy.
So now I'm sure they're cheering in the boardroom.
Boy, are they.
So now for Matt, after Polka heated up, that's 4 home runs last 12 games for Matt Davidson. He and Polka with 18 each at the DH spot. Typically, Matt playing 3rd tonight. And with that home run, another generous donation from the Alex Snellius family in loving memory of Ursula. 409 feet on that one from Matt. To left field, could be trouble, and it's not. Polanco for out number 2.
Those are 2 huge runs as Minnesota came very close to coming within 1 run after the Kepler triple. A couple of strikeouts by Garver and Cave that ended that inning. And the Sox, with a little insurance here, have moved that lead to 4.
Every night the game hinges somewhere. And typically when you get out of a jam for whatever reason, you see the smile from Giolito, typically the other team doesn't make you pay, you get them right back, as Polanco throws out Smith to retire the side. But Davidson, a 2-run shot to center. 7-3, the Sox with the lead at stretch time here at Target Field. Matty D, number 18 on the year. To the moon it goes.
.30, and if you're stuck at work, you can stream the game on the NBC Sports app.
Carlos Rodon starting that game, and with all the fanfare, or hoopla, as Don Cooper called it, about Michael Kopech, don't forget about Carlos Rodon, who has really improved this year and morphed into what looks like a front of the rotation guy.
But there's no doubt, as a fairly young veteran, his ERA of 2.69 in his 12 starts, he's starting to show why he was drafted in the first round with the 3rd pick of the draft out of North Carolina State. As Juan Minaya comes into this for the 35th time, he's 1-2. His ERA at 4.44. There you look at the rest of the numbers. 34 strikeouts and 26 in the 3rd is impressive.
He'll face Austin, Adrianza, and Maurer in this 7th inning. Giolito's 6 innings, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. That was a tight breaking ball.
If you throw the first pitch strike, that becomes a good pitch. If you miss with the first pitch, most hitters just going to lay off that because they're not going to be able to hit it. So it's a difference that a first pitch strike makes in the at bat overall.
Fastball up high, perfectly done on 3 pitches to strike out Austin. Join the White Sox in honoring Chicago area police and fire departments. It's Thursday, August 30th, Police and Fire Night. First 10,000 fans get a Yolmer Sanchez celebration themed T-shirt presented by UL. For more than a century, UL's been committed to fire safety. Learn more at ul.com/fire. And does anything say fire safety more than dousing yourself with a bucket of water?
Well, if anybody can do it, it's Yolmer. He has a whole bag of tricks.
Kind of scared as to what's at the bottom of that bag. He's playing second base today. And I said to him jokingly, I know when you're at second base, you don't get to show your whole arm over at third. And he says, well, I still haven't shown the whole arm at third. Just you get to see 10% of it. 1-2 for Adrianza. So Lucas Giolito tonight ran into some trouble periodically, but 6th inning, 1 out triple. He strikes out a pair. Not dissimilar to the bases loaded, nobody out he got out of at home.
Now he did a nice job of getting out of that 6th inning because the Twins looked like they wanted to mount a serious comeback, but getting out of the inning allowed the Sox to come back and put another couple up there. Lengthen the lead. Things a little more comfortable these days.
Said at home, the bases loaded, nobody out was in his last start at Detroit. Detroit does feel like home, though. The Sox are going to be there for pretty much the balance of a week and a half. As there's strike 3, Manaea throwing disappearing stuff right now, 2 down.
This one had some good late movement. I'm not sure if it's a splitter or not, but it looked awfully good. That ball just disappeared diving away from Adrianza, and it's 2 up, 2 strikeouts.
See, this is the Juan Manaea we saw last year at points.
The guy that was 9 of 10 in closing games. At that point, he threw everything over the plate.
Ball was bruised foul. Sox yesterday got 7 innings out of the bullpen in order to beat the Royals by 1. So it's incumbent upon Manaea and the crew. By the way, you have a child to take home. Now you got a ball.
Good night at the ballpark.
As long as it's your child.
Yeah. Well, it was baby night. You get one of those, you come in.
Seems like the ball may have landed inside the diaper bag.
You take your chances when you go get it.
Yes, you do. The joys of motherhood. All right. Here's a foul ball. Let's see where it indeed landed. Right in the bag. It's yours. How about that? You know, typically when you find a surprise in the diaper bag, it's not as enjoyable as that.
No.
That is strike 3 and a little surprise for Joe Mauer. A souvenir, a solid souvenir. A good kind of souvenir in your diaper bag. Take it home. Smile. And it is our old pal Todd Frazier enjoying himself in Williamsport last night. Such a great scene. It's a tremendous reminder of why we all love baseball. Phillies and Mets. A little dancing, a little smiling, a little fun. And Major League Baseball at Bowman Field in lovely Williamsport, Pennsylvania. Todd Frazier, who they did a breakdown on MLB Network just the other day of his swing. They compared it right now to his swing from back in the Toms River days. Pretty much the same thing. He hasn't changed his swing at all.
Well, if you had that kind of luck, why change? As Addison Reed comes in the ball game on for the 47th time. 1-6 hasn't been the best year for him. Look at those numbers with left-handers just killing him to the tune of 371. And that's it. Little souvenir.
Aw.
Young lady won't remember it for a while, maybe a couple years.
Yeah, a little selfie control freak thing going on there. No, little, come on, a little to the right. Is that good enough? Is that good enough? Kid's just like, what are you doing, Mom and Dad? Hey, come on, Dad, get it right. Got to get some support behind the head, the soft spot there. Up the middle. And that's going to be a base hit for Tim Anderson. Evidently, we've become the parenting police here in the 8th inning.
The second hit for Tim to go with a run batted in.
She made him do it again.
Well, you got to get it right.
Kid's crying now. Kid's like, look, here's the deal. I know that's my diaper bag, and I know this is all fun and everything, but I was sleeping. Just a quick note, I was asleep.
Very comfortably sleeping, not any longer.
It's okay. Mommy and Daddy wanted to take a selfie. Adam Engel in for Garcia, who was injured. Hamstring trouble. Trying to track down a ball in right center. Leori will be reevaluated tomorrow in Chicago, is the report. There's a strike. Addison Reed is the man a couple steps away from, but he is behind that Yolmer Sanchez self-dousing. It was Trace Thompson who homered off of Addison Reed against the Twins back in May that led to Trace approaching the plate and Yolmer dumping the Gatorade on himself. Adam hits it in the air to left field. Rosario started back. Now he comes in and makes a catch for out number 1. Hey, the Cardinals have taken the lead in the first inning. They've gone to the second now against the Dodgers. 1-0 St. Louis. Jose Martinez a home run.
Big series in Seattle with the Astros playing the Mariners. Mariners leading 2-1 at the end of 1.
Justin Verlander yesterday in that series finale against the A's just picked up his 200th career victory. It's a 1-game spread between the Astros and Oakland. A's are playing the Rangers tonight. Say you had to pick a winner in the AL West right now. Who'd you pick?
Houston.
You would?
Mm-hmm.
Boy, there's too much magic going on in Oakland.
There's a lot of it.
I'd be hard pressed to not pick the A's.
That's starting rotation for the Astros for me. As soon as they get Altuve back, I think they take off. But who knows when they're going to get him back? That's been the big factor. I don't think it's a race if they keep Altuve.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's a spark plug of that team, the MVP of that team, the league's MVP, and you lose him, and it takes a big chunk out of your offense.
Altuve, I think it was last night, just picked up his first ever AAA hit. He kind of did it backward. First base side. Mauer backpedaling into foul territory.
Well, Dave Ross informs us that there's a very good chance Altuve will be activated tomorrow, and that will give everybody a chance to breathe a sigh of relief, assuming that the Astros have the same kind of lead that they have. It's only one game, but still better to be up there in first. And that was a huge effort by Verlander.
Oh, they needed it.
Yeah,
bad.
that was a game they really needed.
Cleveland won tonight in Boston 5-4. So now that lead is 12.5 in the Central. Corey Kluber got the win. He beat Rick Porcello. And soon Terry Francona will have a well-stocked bullpen. Hundreds upon hundreds of people will be coming out.
They'll be making more than a few changes when the calendar rolls around to expansion of the bullpens.
There's a rocket right field side by Polka. We've seen that before here. Anderson to third. He's waved around. Throw coming to the dish. Will not get there. It goes rolling around the infield. And Polka's got an RBI double.
That is run batted in number 50. Turned out to be a banner rookie year for Daniel Polka. 18 home runs, 50 driven in, and he drives it through Mauer. Not by him, through him.
People have gotten 5 to 10 for doing what he does to a baseball.
Well, he just kills the ball.
Well, if that's the case, maybe it's 20 to life. So coming into today, Daniel Polka with the top 3 percentage of batted balls hit 105 miles an hour or more. About a quarter of the time a ball that he hits is 105 or greater. This one was 106. Polanco does get Avi for out number 3. By the way, you hit the ball 105 last year. Your batting average was 668. So Daniel continues to pop the ball. 8-3 Sox. Chuck, thank you. Look forward to seeing you on Wednesday at the ballpark. We'll be on WGN tomorrow night for the debut of Michael Kopech, and you'd imagine that it'll be the first of at least a couple in a White Sox uniform, but you never know when that turn's going to come up at home, so be there tomorrow night. Hope to see you. By the way, remember the other day when we said that maybe if you had a day off on Monday, you should drive up here to Minneapolis to see the one game?
A gentleman took you up on that.
Yeah, he's from Pastime. He came up to us during the break, kind of yelled up to the booth from down on the concourse level here, and he said, remember when you said that, we decided to do it. And I thought, wow, awesome fan, tremendous White Sox fan from Palatine down there, gentlemen. And I said, you're going to come to Michael Kopech's first start tomorrow? He said, no, we're going fishing. Dude, you did it backwards.
He's got his priorities set. He had planned the fishing trip, so he'll pick up the next start.
Yeah, but he's here for this one game that wasn't even supposed to happen, and then the massive debut that you will remember forever he's not going to come to.
Might have come up for the walleye.
Strike three, and
meantime,
one down.
That's 4 strikeouts in a row for Manaea.
That's not the saddest fan story that we've got. I mean, it's a great story to come up here and watch the game and go fishing. Remember that blizzard from back in April?
I do. A lot of snow in that.
Oh yeah, yeah. As I recall, our producer Keon Dolachahi and I went to lunch one of those days and ran into a Sox fan who came here from England, came here from overseas to see a couple of games.
Didn't he know it was going to snow?
Had no idea.
Apparently not, huh?
Didn't read the forecast, just like Chuck.
It's true.
Have not seen our friend from the United Kingdom here at the ballpark. Thought maybe he'd make the return trip for the one game, but he may be gone fishing. 2-1 on Polanco. Sox with 2 in the 7th, 1 in the 8th. To get some distance. That's there. 2-2. Count full on Polanco. Avi and right has out number 2. The Xfinity Kids Zone overlooks left field and is accessible from all levels of guaranteed rate field. The space features batting and pitching cages, base running areas, and skill instruction from Chicago White Sox Training Academy coaches. While you're there, check out the latest Xfinity technology, including the X1 platform. Two down for Sano.
Meantime, 5 up, 5 down from Manaea. The bullpen that was so good yesterday, looking equally as good here this evening. 7 scoreless yesterday's game, just 3 hits, 11 strikeouts, 2 walks. What a performance by the pen yesterday.
So Manaea, knowing that, trying to give the Sox a pair of innings tonight. Did he go?
Yes, he did.
He didn't think he did. He's stronger than.
Well, it's a very short swing, and he looks like he's checking it up. He really doesn't. Watch it again. It's really short. He actually makes the swing, but looks like he tries to check it up quickly enough and is surprised by Manny Gonzalez and his call at first.
Well, the bat looks like a shoestring potato in his hand anyway.
Yeah, he's a big, big, strong man.
Two. He struck him out. Fastball at 96, and Minaya, with great confidence, saunters off the mound after 6 up, 6 down.
It's a foul ball. Where does it go? In the diaper bag. And a souvenir. And a selfie.
Kid was having a great time.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun for the young lady.
I have a question for you.
Sure. I don't have the answer, but go ahead.
Okay. What do you think of this tweet from Bill James?
I like it.
From earlier today. The baseball statistician,
Yes.
sabermetrician. He says, as this is lined to first, on a hop to Mauer for out number 1. He says the balk is a terrible and useless rule. First, sports do not usually try to prevent deception, and there is no reason to do so. Second, many balks are just flinches of no consequence at all, except some beep calls a balk. And third, the rule is completely incomprehensible.
I don't find it incomprehensible, but I mean, if they want to change the balk, that's fine. I don't think it's, I think it's a rule that's been around for quite some time. And if you have a good enough move where you don't need deception, you don't have to take advantage of the rules.
There was a walk-off balk the other night that I think drew the frustration of some people around baseball.
It did.
The base is loaded. I thought you might have strong feelings one way or the other as a former pitcher.
I've embraced the balk low these many years. Yeah. I tried to make sure that I practice enough balks to not do it when it was game time.
That seems counterintuitive, I've got to say. You knew how to balk so well that you didn't do it.
Yes. Because there are certain moves with a runner at first base will get you charged a balk.
Yep.
There's really good ones that can get you a pickoff anytime you need one, but again, you're going outside the rules to do it.
Hey, here's the BP home run of the game. It's Matt Davidson. He's up right now, and he was up previously, and he did this. It was a home run. It's the BP home run of the game. Narration over.
Just barely making it over the head of Max Kepler, but good enough. 18th home run of the year for Matt.
Who do you think liked the home run that they got on the replay more, the Ford people or the BP people tonight?
Well, let's see. I think they're both equally as ecstatic with the delivery.
There's strike 3 and 2 gone in the ninth. Davidson finishes likely 2 for 5.
Oh, I'd like to think so.
Yeah.
Because if he's able to add on to that, this is not going to be good. I'd just like to see that as the final at bat of the evening for Matt Davidson.
But it could, I mean, it doesn't have to be extra innings that gets him another swing. It could be that Sanchez at all get on base and create a massive rally here in the ninth.
Yeah, but probably not, seeing as there's 2 outs, nobody on, and you'd have to send another 8 guys to the plate.
Well, Yolmer's been a spark plug, though. He's on an 8-game hit streak.
He is a spark plug.
Yeah.
A human spark plug.
His hit streak's in danger, though, right now.
It is.
If you're at home and you have those special powers, it's time to really concentrate and try to get Yolmer a hit.
Get Yolmer to 9. That's the rallying cry.
Seemed more like a yelling at me cry. Line drive.
Oh, almost. Just missed. Well, comes trickling back. Bat and ball going in the same neighborhood, actually.
Addison
He doesn't want to
keep it for a while.
Doesn't want to give it back. I don't blame him.
Former teammates, compatriots with the White Sox, Sanchez and Reed. He knew him as Carlos Sanchez.
He hits better as Yolmer.
His average has skyrocketed.
Yeah. Better player as a Yolmer.
Right side and through, base hit. The streak lives. Whatever you did at home.
I think that'll be Yolmer 9. Adrianza made a big effort, but could not come up with the baseball. Just barely under the glove into right field.
To all of you who concentrated so hard at home, you did a good thing.
Yes, we and Yolmer thank you tremendously
for all of your hard work. Kevin Smith takes ball 1. Sox will be back here as part of the final series of the season. Late September. 4 games in 3 days. That's smoke to left field on a line, and Rosario makes the catch to retire the side, but Yolmer's hit streak continues, and we'll go bottom 9.
What a night he had. 2 innings, 5 strikeouts. The only man to make contact was Polanco. Harmless fly out to right field. Other than that, 5 Ks. 4 of them swinging, 1 called. Quite a night. And we've got a new pitcher to come in the ball game. And there he is, hard throwing Thiago Vieira. No record, 1 for 1 with a 6.14 ERA.
I got a tweet I want to share with you.
Sure.
This is from Colin Dowding. Run CMD 23 is his Twitter handle. He says, although an English White Sox fan, I've traveled all the way from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia to watch Michael Kopech's major league debut tomorrow. Try to top that one.
That's a long trip.
Uh-huh.
So you're buying the fact that he didn't know Kopech was pitching, and then when he found out, he came from Riyadh.
Oh, he doesn't claim that. He just said he traveled to watch it.
Ah,
yeah.
I see. Well, that's good.
You have to imagine that would be a fairly expensive flight to book 24 hours in advance, Riyadh to O'Hare.
Yeah, I would think so.
But they are literally coming from all over the earth to see the debut tomorrow.
And one big factor, probably, I'm not sure if that man knows this, but if he holds over his stay for 1 day, he gets $1 Hot Dog Wednesday.
And what?
that helps to amortize the price of the ticket.
Because I'm certain that somebody who came from Saudi Arabia to see Michael Kopech's debut is interested in amortizing the trip a little bit more.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. So if you're sitting at home and you're thinking, you know what, traffic on the Kennedy or the Dan Ryan might be a little tough tomorrow, so I don't think I'm going to necessarily make it, as this ball is ticketed for a bullpen. Max Kepler has had quite the night, a triple and a home run.
17th home run of the year, 46 driven in for Kepler. It's the daylights out of this fastball. It's middle out. It's our 4th home run replay, and it's gone. Only fortunate part is a 5-run lead heading into that swing.
Ball looked like it had Danish on its mind.
It was hit awfully hard.
What I was going to say is if you're worried about traffic or parking or whatever it is tomorrow, think about Colin from Saudi Arabia, who came from continents over to see the debut tomorrow of Michael Kopech. .408 feet on that home run. Now our Twitter followers are pricing out flights from Saudi Arabia. I love our fans. Ball and 2 strikes on Garver. Adams in center, and Adams got out number 1 as we take a look at the Verizon projected starters for tomorrow's game. Steve, have you heard?
I heard. I thought Michael Kopech was pitching. He is. Jose Barrios provides the opposition. He's pretty tough against our ball club, as he's pretty tough against all ball clubs. But as you can see, 157 strikeouts and 153 2/3 for Barrios. Opponent's batting average at 224. It'll be a big night for Michael Kopech and our Sox.
Well, you heard Chris Getz earlier talking about Kopech and how ready he is, but also how intense he is and how much of a competitor he is. We will see everything that is that unique 22-year-old on the mound at the ballpark tomorrow, and it will be fun to watch. And Barrios, if you're ranking stuff we've seen this year in one given start, the stuff he had here in April was scary.
Pretty good. Yeah, that slider that he throws low 3/4, almost from the side, when it's right, close to unhittable for the right-hand hitters.
That's there for a strike. 3-1 to Cave. .97 tailing away. We wish you the best of luck with that.
Yeah, if you're not gonna square it up real well. You're gonna swing at that, probably it's a miss in your future.
And that is a miss. Ball 4. In case you're wondering, as you watch the radar gun tomorrow, Michael Kopech is attacking this. And again, Chris Getz said that it's not the only thing about him. It's not the thing that we love necessarily even most about him, but he throws hard. And the hardest pitch thrown by a Sox player is 100.1 by Bruce Rondon on April the 8th. So as you watch the gun tomorrow, that's something to keep an eye on. But you've said it before, the secondary stuff is what will make him into a special pitcher at the major league level.
And that's what Chris Getz said about his year this year. He's talking about the secondary stuff, and that's when he became a pitcher, when he had the ability to get the secondary stuff over the plate. And that's both his curve and his slider to go with the occasional, just occasional straight change. But he's going to be a power pitcher. I mean, that's just going to be what he does. And so hard curve, hard slider to go with a very, very hard fastball.
Well, we talked to Michael Kopech very early on in the season, and he mentioned in our conversation with him that he was messing around with some changeup grips, trying to land on the proper thing, and seemingly has done that. Steve McCaddy says 4+ pitches now is what Kopech features. Charlotte pitching coach. Vieira for strike 3, 2 down in this 9th inning. Two out for A-Ray Adrianza. His 1-game series about to come to an end as there's a strike. Cave to second on indifference. Ball and a strike on Adrianza. Your thoughts on Giolito tonight?
I thought he started out with a few difficulties and then started to throw the ball pretty well. What I liked tonight was a little more life on his fastball. That's something that we haven't seen a lot of, but he was getting very good movement. So Lucas went 6 innings, gave up 3 runs on 5 hits, walked only 2. They came early. They came in the 1st and 2nd inning. Then he started to get a feel for things, and it worked out very well for him. He struck out 6 in 6 innings. That was good. So I thought as he's moved along, on some of the nights when he doesn't have great stuff, he's still able to pitch effectively, and that's been one of the biggest differences. And if in fact Sox hold on to win this, and it appears that they're going to, he's going to move to 9-9. For a Sox team that has been less than overwhelming, 9-9 is pretty good for a young pitcher.
Right side, it sneaks by. Cave scores. Adrianza drives him in. It's 8-5.
Adrianza continues to do what he's been doing all year long against our boys, and that is a couple of hits, 2 for 4 tonight.
You mentioned more life on the fastball from Giolito. Average four-seam fastball tonight was 93.5 as Don Cooper goes out to the mound. Average for the year was 92 coming in for Lucas on that fastball, so something of a jump.
Plus, it wasn't only velocity, it was just the movement of the fastball. I mean, that fastball was moving a good 3, 4, sometimes 6 inches away from the bat of the left-hand hitters. When you can do that, you're going to take that off the sweet spot of the bat, and you're going to get some bad swings, some little pop-ups or ground balls, which he did tonight. So Don Cooper's had his say. Hopefully it will work, and we'll be able to wrap this one up.
Tiago facing Joe Mauer. Would really like to wrap this one up, in part because the next guy up is Eddie Rosario, and we have seen him take some big swings for this team this year. He would be the tying run if it got there. Mauer, as usual, takes first pitch. It's a strike.
If he can't get Mauer, he's not going to be facing Rosario. So to save on one arm out of that pen, be nice to get Mauer out and end this ball game.
Adrianza runs, ground ball to second base. Sanchez, and the Sox win this one-game makeup. 8-5 your final score.
A lot of offense tonight. Certainly enough pitching. A fine night out of the bullpen by Juan Minaya. He was brilliant. Giolito evens his record at 9-9. And the boys, on what was an off day, come away with a victory here in Minneapolis.
Bullpen gets saved for the most part. Minaya goes 2. Vieira with 1. 8-5 your final score. A home run for Matt Davidson in the game, a 2-run shot. Tim Anderson a couple of hits. Jose Abreu 2 hits and 2 driven in. Daniel Palka 2 hits and an RBI double. And Yolmer Sanchez moves the hit streak to 9. Nicky Delmont